Hello there, Full Size here with another Rust Electronics video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build some simple trap-based circuitry. First, you may recognize this circuit from my previous video. This is my improved infinite power circuit. If you haven't seen this video and you want to use this circuit, I'll put a link in the description. However, the important part to understand is that this circuit is giving me a steady 8-volt output, whether it's running off of the solar panel on the roof or the battery backup. These 8 volts is all we're going to be using for today's circuitry. If you want to follow along in building this circuit, you're going to need the following components: a wire tool, an electrical branch, a switch, a timer, a splitter, an HBHF sensor, a wooden storage box, an RF pager, 2 door controllers, and an RF broadcaster. We won't be using all of these components for any particular circuit, but we'll need all of them to try the different varieties. To start with, put down your electrical branch, followed by the switch, and then the timer. You can put your splitter up here, and then put your HBHF sensor. Also, put your broadcaster down on the floor somewhere, and then put down your 2 door controllers. Now, obviously there are no doors here, so these will be effectively useless, and this is a really bad spot for the HBHF sensor. But I just wanted to put them all on the wall like this so that it's very clear where each of the wires is run to. Now, whatever your power input, so long as you have 8 volts, go ahead and run your power into the input of the electrical branch. There are 2 outputs on the electrical branch, power out and branch out. Take the branch out power and run it to the power in of the HBHF sensor. Then the power output from the HBHF sensor can go to the toggle on for the timer. The power out from the electrical branch goes to the power in of the switch. And right now, before you forget about it, go ahead and turn the switch on. Hover over it and press E. Your power output from your switch should now be 4 volts. This is a good way to check the circuit setup at this point. Now your power output from the switch goes to the power in of the timer, and then the power output for the timer is going to go to the power input of the splitter. Now at this point you have 0 output on the splitter. If you want, hover over the timer and hit E. That will temporarily activate it, and you can check your power output is 2 volts. Now 2 volts isn't a lot of power, but it is enough power to activate 2 different door controllers, or maybe a door controller and a broadcaster. So now, check again by hitting E and turning on the timer. Both door controllers should turn on. To test this one last time, we'll go around the corner, give it a second to stop the timer, and then we'll come back around, allowing the HBHF sensor to detect us. And notice that it did turn on both the doors, indicated by these top green lights. The bottom red light, if you're wondering, means that these door controllers are not paired to any doors. Alternatively, if you only need one trap door to open in your trap base, you could use one of the other outputs to go to the RF broadcaster. Now, set the frequency on your RF broadcaster to anything you want. I'm going to set it to 1111, and then when we trigger the trap, it will let our pager go off, assuming you've also set it to the same frequency. So now, if you have this set up when you're away from your trap base and your pager goes off, then you know that you have a potential victim in your trap. You can spawn on your bed and check for loot. Now right now, the timer is only set to 10-second interval. To change the interval, hover over the timer and hold the E button, and then select Set Time. Again, by default, it's 10 seconds, but I want to set it for 1 hour, because that's how long it takes for loot to despawn on the server that I normally play on. 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. Now, when the trap is set, and someone triggers it, the timer will activate for a period of 1 hour. You see the dial in the middle? You can't even see it turning, it's going so slowly. In order to reset the trap, all you have to do is turn the switch off and then back on. Now it's set and ready for the next victim. The other thing you could do, if you really needed to have the broadcaster as well as two door controllers, is you could bypass the switch. The problem is you literally don't have enough voltage to go around because, again, we're trying to do this off of a single solar panel and this backup battery circuit, which only has an 8-volt output. So you can bypass the switch and run your power directly from the power out of the electrical branch to the power in of the timer. Now we have exactly enough voltage to run all three of these items when the trap is set. So again, to demonstrate someone triggering the trap, activate the timer. Now both door controllers are running and the broadcaster. Alternatively, if you didn't need a broadcaster, you could run a third door controller off of this. But again, we don't have enough power to run through the switch and run three different devices. So in order to reset the trap now, you would have to simply manually disconnect that wire and then reconnect it each time you wanted to reset the trap. That might seem like a pain, but let's face it, you're probably not going to catch more than a dozen, maybe 2 dozen people in your trap regardless. It's not that big of a deal if you really need to have 2 doors and a broadcaster or 3 doors activated by the trap. So that's one alternate design right there, and obviously you can pause this anywhere in here to get a good look at the circuitry. Now, how do we set this up for practical application? Well, first of all, let me remove all of these outputs. I'm going to leave the broadcaster on there for the moment, but I am going to set it back up with the switch. So first of all, I've got another HBHF sensor in the other room. So our branch power needs to go to that HBHF sensor. And then our power out from the HBHF sensor needs to go to the toggle on of the timer. And I'm going to cross wires here. I hate doing it, but I got to do it. So now the other HBHF sensor is hooked up exactly like this one was before. I'm going to go ahead and pull these off the wall to make sure they don't confuse anything. And then the other 2 power outputs, again, I've hooked the switch back up, so we can only use one of these. If I activate the timer, we only have the 2-volt output. So now I'm going to run this one to one door controller, which is over in this room here. And then close that door again. This door stays open, that door stays open. You actually have to close that door to get through this gap, but then open it again to be sure. And then you can turn your trap on. Okay? So, to see how this works, I'm going to go outside and come in the front door. Now your victim comes along, he sees what looks like a rated base, there's some boxes over there, and he comes over here to check them out, and he's instantly dead. There's shotgun traps here, and there's shotgun traps here. Now, you might think, well, what if he sees that sensor before it sees him? That's where our box comes in. So let's put this box down right here, and then, if somebody's sneaking a peek around the corner, they're not going to see anything but some random loot boxes thrown on the floor. So now, one more time, to see it in action, let me turn the switch off and back on, and then I'm going to de-auth myself so that the shotgun traps will unfortunately work on me too. This time I'm going to be as sneaky as I possibly can. So I come in here, I sneak around the corner, I don't see anything suspicious, and then all of a sudden I'm dead. So what most people do is they'll spawn back outside at their base and they'll run back over as quickly as they can. So you come back in here and you want to sneak over here and get your body. Now I could loot my body right here and then I could run back away. Alright? So that's the problem with only having a single door open in order to trigger your trap. Alright, now remove the wire going to the broadcaster, because we don't need it right now. And then I'm going to no clip because I'm on a creative server, but normally you would just have to build a ladder to come up here. And I have another door controller up here on the roof hooked up to this ladder hatch. Now the cool thing about this ladder hatch is you can't see it from the inside, see? So what I've had a lot of people tell me in the past is I had a ladder hatch there, and I actually saw that in a different trap-based video, but people come in, they see the ladder hatch, and they get really suspicious. And if they go in at all, it's because they barely have anything on them, or they'll even go back to their base and put all their loot away and then come back and come in to check, because it looks really fishy. So this way, they can't see the ladder hatch. So they come in here, they creep around the corner, and the trap triggers, and now they're stuck in here. The ladder hatch is blocking them. They can't get out. Now I've authed on the TC, so these guns aren't shooting me again, but you get the idea. The other really cool thing about it is, when they come back to try and get their loot, here they come, there's no way for them to get to their body, because when they try to pass the ladder hatch, it just starts making them climb it. There's just no way to get past, and even if they could creep underneath it, those shotgun traps are going to kill them again. Okay? So it stays in this state right here with that ladder hatch down and that door open to the shotgun traps until you come back over and reset the trap manually. So now this trap is reset and ready to go again. So that's one of the traps. Now I want to show you another one. It's using the exact same circuitry, but it's a drastically different base design. So this one here, you come in, again it looks like a rated base. There's some loot boxes here with some random loot in them. You creep around the corner checking it out, you don't see anything suspicious, and then all of a sudden you're shoved in front of 5 shotgun traps. So again, you spawn outside, and you run back over to see if there's any way to collect any of your loot. Unfortunately, this timer is also set to 1 hour, and this door stays open, preventing anyone from getting back in to try and recover their loot. Even if they could get past it, they can clearly see there are shotgun traps in there that they'll also have to deal with. So, how does this base work? So your victim comes in, and when they get to this point right here, they can't see the shotgun traps yet. But right about here, there's an HPHF sensor right there on the floor. Again, this circuit is set up exactly like before. So from here, you can't see any of that. You can't get far enough back against this wall because these boxes are in the way. And inevitably, when this door opens, it pushes you to the left in front of the shotgun traps. You have nowhere to run, and you're just going to die. Period. End of story. Just in case they were to glitch through the door, which does happen occasionally, I highly recommend putting shotgun traps in here as well. In fact, I've laid out the electronics quite wide so that you can clearly see where all the wires go. But if you were to put the electronics farther back, you could even put another solid wall in here. So that even if somebody got back in past the door by, I don't know, blowing it up, they still wouldn't be into anything important. So, one more time, this is the same infinite power circuit that I've used before, and this is the exact same circuit that I had set up in the other base. This one's running off of the RF broadcaster, as it only needs one other output to go to one door controller. Again, if you needed more doors, you could bypass the switch to get an extra volt to run one more door, or remove the broadcaster and use that power output from the switch to get one more door controller. But with this base design, you only need the one. This is by far my simplest design, but simple isn't always good. Sometimes you need it to be more complicated because people aren't falling for simple anymore. Or maybe you've been on the server for a while and everybody's seen this one. So, using this circuit, feel free to come up with your own trap-based designs. I look forward to seeing them, and I hope you put a link to them in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.